Haru is a guy who locked himself away due to bullying during high school. He spent years in his room until he is surprisingly reincarnated by a goddess. Haru understands that he must have passed away, and the goddess informs him he will be born again in a new world full of magic. She encourages him to make the most out of his second chance, and Haru only wishes for a peaceful and simple life. He imagines that his super powerful abilities will enable him to live a laid-back life. Haru wakes up as a baby, discovering that he is the prince. He has the royal sign on his body, which thrills the king, who is keen to see how powerful his son is. Thus, he asks his advisor to conduct a magic test. The advisor's crystal ball lights up as it tests Haru's power, and the king believes he should be at least level 40 because his mother was a hero who defeated the Demon King. But the result shows only level 2, and the advisor points out he has no elements, meaning he can only use defensive magic. This shocks the king, who can't fathom having such a weak son. They worry about the reactions of others, so they agree to claim that he passed away at birth. Haru is in disbelief that he is about to die after just being reborn, and the king orders him to be left in a distant forest. The goddess is distressed at seeing this, and she realizes her mistake. Haru's power level is actually 1002. However, the power measuring tools in this world can't register such high power, so they don't understand how powerful Haru truly is, and she forgot to assign him an element. Haru finds himself deserted in a forest, helpless as he is just an infant. He recalls their mention of his ability to use defensive magic, and decides to try it. He visualizes it and successfully creates a cube. He finds it easy to manipulate, altering its size and shape. When he uses it on himself, it allows him to levitate, but then a large wolf appears. Haru panics, but his defense protects him. He creates more barriers, throwing them at the wolf, but they don't hurt it. He considers using something bigger for the attack, so he uses his barriers to lift trees, hurling them at the wolf. The wolf gets up, prompting him to go even bigger. He lifts a huge part of the ground. As he gets ready to crush the wolf, he hears a voice offering surrender. He can't identify where it's coming from, so he proceeds with his attack. The wolf yells, and Haru realizes the wolf can speak. The wolf is taken aback by Haru's formidable strength, suspecting him to be far from ordinary. Haru, grappling with speech, devises an idea and uses a barrier that translates his thoughts into audible words. With this, he begins to converse, sparking the wolf's curiosity about him. Haru introduces himself and explains he was deserted due to his low level. However, the wolf doubts this as it can perceive his overpowering energy, leading it to hypothesize that Haru might be the Demon King reincarnated. Deciding to play along, Haru confirms that he is, indeed, the Demon King, a claim the wolf accepts without question. Acknowledging its defeat, the wolf suggests Haru should end its life, but Haru reassures the wolf that as long as it refrains from attacking him, there's no need for that. The wolf is awed by his mercy and swears by her name as a flame Fenrir that she will uphold this promise. Haru says his goodbyes, addressing her as Flay. The wolf takes this as Haru naming her, believing they have established a pact, and she pledges her loyalty to him. Haru clarifies that he merely shortened her name without the intention of creating a pact, but Flay turns a deaf ear to his explanation. Suddenly, Haru's energy drains, and he collapses to the ground, puzzling Flay. It appears he is in dire need of sustenance, particularly milk. To fulfill this need, Flay transforms into a human form. Haru, flustered at the sight of her nudity, prompts her to put on some clothing. She does, donning a suit, but Haru finds this equally embarrassing. As Flay prepares to nurse him, she discovers that she doesn't have any milk because she has yet to mate. Contemplating the idea of mating with baby Haru to produce milk, she hears someone approaching. Wondering if she should neutralize the intruder, Haru suggests trying to communicate with them first. He uses his barrier to form a communicative link between him and Flay, allowing her to hear him from afar. As a man comes into view, Flay confronts him, asking his intentions. The man states that he is there for Haru, but Flay staunchly refuses to surrender him. Inquisitive about their connection, the man learns from Flay that Haru is her master. The man purports to be a relative of Haru's and claims he has come to rescue him. He even brought along milk for Haru. Haru urges Flay to accept the man's offer, but she disregards his advice. She questions why the man would return for something they had discarded. In response, the man recounts a story of his wife's failed pregnancy, explaining he is not bothered by Haru's supposed weakness and believes every child deserves a chance at life. Flay is emotionally stirred by his words, and the man is bemused to see a demon move to tears. They come to an agreement, and the man decides to take Flay in two, allowing her to stay close to Haru. The man leaves behind a deception indicating Haru's death. Fast forward 9 years, Haru has matured, living contentedly with his new family. His initial plan was to depart once he was weaned off milk, but the family's kindness made him stay. The only snag is his relationship with his sister, Charlotte, which is somewhat strained. Flay fulfills the role of their maid, and Charlotte seems to be fond of her, requesting her to join in play. Flay insists that her duty is to attend to Haru, but Haru instructs her to entertain Charlotte. Thus, they head outdoors with Charlotte hot on their trail. As Haru watches them from indoors, his mother advises him not to take Charlotte's attitude to heart, attributing her behavior to her confusion about interacting with boys. However, Haru frets that Charlotte might be sensing his actual age of almost 30. Retreating to his room, Haru contemplates leaving to avoid increasing expectations from his parents. He has crafted a duplicate of himself using his barrier magic, aiming to use it as his substitute one day, but he's yet to make it move or talk. His father pays him a visit, knocking on his door and leads him outside to the yard where he intends to instruct him in swordsmanship. Haru shows no interest in this skill, but his father emphasizes that with his low mana levels, it's vital to cultivate other abilities. Haru wishes to simply unwind, but his father persists that he should give it a try. Aware of his father's prowess as a seasoned warrior, Haru doubts his chances. Using his barrier for protection, he bravely confronts his father, even managing to shatter his father's sword. His father, taken aback by the damage caused, instructs Haru to attempt evading his attack. When he swings, Haru successfully dodges it. Both his father, asserting that it should have been an impossible feat for anyone under level 30, and Haru find this odd. It is revealed that Haru attempted to gauge his power using a more potent crystal ball, speculating he might have a level in the hundreds. Yet, it still displayed just 2. He finds the idea of having a level in the thousands absurd since the highest level recorded in all of humanity was merely level 77. Later in the evening, Haru's father discusses the sword practice session with his wife but expresses his worry that Haru might be a demon. His wife is stunned by this revelation. His wife believes Haru appears just like a regular boy, but they ponder why a demon, such as Flay, is exceptionally obedient to him. However, Charlotte overhears the conversation and is taken aback by the possibility of her brother being a demon, her distance from him. Char then explains it in a way that makes the two be seen as young lovers. Everyone is perplexed, Flay is annoyed, and Haru is happy because his sister is finally hugging him. This is all for this anime. Give the video a like, and I will see you in the next minutes.